What is up, IDP Army? What is up, underdogs? It is your man, Jordan Reigns. I am sitting opposite the living legend, Dave Kluge, and we are the underdogs. Dave, how you doing, my guy?
Doing great, man. Excited. This show's fun. Like just coming on here and basically doing what I'm doing when I'm not on a show anyway, which is underdog drafts. I mean, let's get after it.
Yes, sir. That's what I do. Basically, what I'm planning on doing after we do this draft here is going upstairs, putting on Netflix, and doing some more underdog drafts. So, listen, y'all, go down in the description of this video, click on the link. You guys can go do some drafts on Underdog too. Get on the platform. It is dope for daily. It is dope for season-long best ball. They have some tournaments coming up. A lot of really good stuff. They'll give you $10 right now. I think is the bonus if you sign up. And it's like I mean, it's easy to win some money on Underdog. It's a good platform. So we're gonna hit you guys with the intro music. We're gonna talk a little bit about the news and notes of the day, and then we're gonna jump into this draft. So let's rock and roll.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, we are back again. If you are watching on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you are listening on the brand new the Underdogs podcast feed, which this will get posted on, probably going to cross post it on the IDP Army one as well, just to let the listener there know we are starting a new feed. We appreciate it. Give us a 5-star rating, a review, thumbs up. Leave us a little comment about whose team you think is going to win after the end of this little competition. I did win last week.
Smoke me. You
Didn't
didn't just
bury the win
win. You
completely.
beat me down.
I only think I beat you by like 14 points or something. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Once I saw Tyreek Hill going ham, I just stopped even checking the score at that point.
Yeah. You did block me from getting the stack though with Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey didn't do nothing for me this week. I don't think nobody said anything about how Kelsey basically laid an egg this week, but you really can't say anything negative about Travis Kelsey because he's a beast.
He is. And that's the problem that we've noticed so far within the first, we know he's a great blocker, but he has been blocking so much that it's really starting to cap his fantasy value. So I mean, kind of at the point now with Travis or with George Kittle, as good as he is, if he's not catching a touchdown, you can't really rely on him to get, 7, 8, 9 catches a game. He's staying in and blocking a lot.
Yeah, I'm not really I've never really been on the Kittle train. I know it was really hot 2 summers ago or last summer to have him as your tight end one ahead of Kelsey. That was like super trendy. But I was like, man, Travis Kelsey, OP, number one, don't mess around. And of course he was and is and still is, continues to be. And that's for a good cause and good reason. No shade at George Kittle, but I mean, there's only one Travis Kelsey, just like there was only one Gronk for a long time. So we did have some good quarterback news today. Well, good for you, Bears fans. You guys get your man Justin Fields was announced as the starter. How you feeling about that?
I mean, I couldn't be happier. I've been waiting for this moment. I think that had Andy Dalton not been hurt, he'd probably still be the starter at this point. I kind of pegged it in the offseason as week 4, that game against the Lions. Would have been a really nice matchup for him to get his feet wet and just, get some NFL action playing against the Lions at home. And he did exactly what you want to see him do against the Lions at home. And he just looked great yesterday. He was spreading the ball all over the field, getting Darnell Mooney going. The one thing we haven't really seen yet through, it's been about 2.5 games now that he's played. We haven't seen a lot of his legs. We've seen him scramble for a couple first downs where he's shown that athleticism, but I would really like to see them draw up some design runs for him. You see him run the option a lot too, but he hasn't kept the ball in the option. You see his head forward, you see him reading that linebacker, and every single time he just puts it in the running back's belly. So I'd like to see him develop a little bit of confidence and not be afraid to run with the ball.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, kind of a tough situation to walk into as a starter, just losing your starting running back, David Montgomery. I know we know Damian Williams is capable, and we that will be okay eventually, I think, but not ideal. I mean, this is already a tumultuous situation in Chicago for a multitude of reasons we won't get into here. But if Justin Fields can overcome this and even show some semblance of competency, I think that we're definitely trending up, and this will be a good thing. So other quarterback stuff we had today, you said right before we came on, Jimmy Garoppolo did not practice today with a calf injury. That seems to be 2, maybe 3 week situation. But I feel like if Trey Lance comes in and is competent, we'll be dealing with the similar kind of coach speak where it's like, he's our starter, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like Andy Dalton was a starter 24 hours ago. But I think we are seeing the transition that we all saw and all talked about coming to fruition, where the out with the old, in with the new. The schedule really opens up. It should be pretty soft for Trey Lance and the 49ers going forward. What are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, I think that this matchup is going to be a ton of fun this weekend, playing, in a conference game against the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't have a great defense, so we've got an opportunity here for him to have a huge show out or a huge showing in what could be a potential shootout. And realistically, I mean, if he goes out and he hangs 40 points on the Cardinals, do you think that there's any chance that they go back to Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo's won games, but he's won games by being a very conservative game manager with a pretty good defense over the last couple of years. But if Trey Lance can go out there and do similar to what Justin Fields did last week, I think that he's got the opportunity to run away with the starting job this week.
I love that kind of confidence, but all I can hear is Matt Patricia, or not Matt Patricia. God damn, Matt Patricia. No, Kyle Shanahan, basically the same guy anymore, in my opinion, taking the podium and saying, if they go out and hang 400 or whatever and win, well, we have a lot to work on. We'll have to see. I mean, that's what Kyle Shanahan will say.
He'll say it, and Matt Nagy
so
said the same thing too. But I mean, come on, ball don't lie. If Trey Lance goes out there and wins a game and beats down the Cardinals, I think that he's going to lock in the starting job.
I want to believe that. I want to believe that.
He looked really good,
and I agree. He should, and he probably would, and he probably will. But it won't be so cut and dry out in the world. I don't think we'll probably be on pins and needles to the last second. It's a game time decision. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
which they haven't even. We assume it's a 2 to 3 week injury for Garoppolo, but they haven't technically said that he's out yet this week, and that's why we're talking about this, because Kyle Shanahan is still saying there might be a chance to play this week. So that's what Kyle Shanahan does, man. He keeps it all close to the chest. You don't know what's going on with that team.
Yeah, I was wondering. I think I might put together a team this week for the Underdog, the tournament they do, the weekly one, with Trey Lance, and probably stack him with Debo. I mean, he does get the Cardinals. That does probably have projected to be a high over-under. I don't know for sure, but I could see that being a lucrative game, a play that probably not a lot of people are going to play, in the Underdog. You're probably going to get a lot of Patrick Mahomes, a lot of Jalen Hurts. You're going to get a lot of people playing those guys, but if you want to maybe diversify a little bit, build some stacks or a stack with Trey Lance this week, I think I'm going to do that. But what other notes do we quickly want to cover? Oh, guys, gals on the channel, obviously this is the IDP Army channel first and foremost. This is the Underdog Show, which is on the playlist on the channel. But I did do a show today, or a short video today, about Jalen Smith. He was released from the Cowboys, and I did a short video today on Chase Young, who has played the most defensive edge snaps in the NFL, and only has 11 pressures, 0 sacks, and is the 69th overall defensive line player in IDP right now. Should you be worried, go check out those videos. You will find out the answers there.
Yeah, we just talked about this in my last show, but I think the biggest consensus miss so far this year was thinking that the Washington football team was going to be good. They stuck into the playoffs last year. They had this stellar defense. Everybody on that defense was stepping up, and it kind of reminds me of Jacksonville a few years ago, where Jacksonville went to the AFC Championship game with this phenomenal defense. Then the next year, they just came out and stunk.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it personally. I know that the defense, they're still talented. They're still good. But I don't know if Chase Young is really the difference maker that people think, or we thought he would be. So we'll have to see.
One of the toughest things to predict, and I'm sure you know this as an IDP guy, is turnovers. Turnovers are so fluky, and they had a very high turnover rate last year. So that's got to regress back to the mean, and that's kind of what's happening right now. And we've seen this happen with a lot of really elite defenses. The next year, they just don't get those bounces going their way, and they fall off a cliff.
Yeah, still a young defense too. A lot of rookie and second year players on that team. We have Jamin Davis now coming in because John Bostic went out. He's an IDP waiver ad for you. Chase Young, second year. Montez Sweat, third year. Cameron Curl, second year. So as far as a veteran presence on that team, your guy for a long time in Washington was Ryan Kerrigan, who's now on the Eagles. So it's we're seeing growing pains that are every team has every year. So. I think that's pretty much everything news and notes wise. You guys, Dave and I will keep you updated. Follow us both on Twitter, but we want to get to this Underdog Draft for you. I think that draft board looks good. I don't know if I want to zoom
for me to hop in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get it rolling. So here's how we
right.
do this, guys, gals. It's Dave and I. We go head to head in Underdog. It's a 2-man draft, it's a private little draft. Basically, it amounts to me taking Dave's money. No big deal. We're still friends. It's all good. It's consent. But we do a head-to-head draft. So the rosters get to be made up of one quarterback, one tight end, or well, you can have up to 2 tight ends, but you really don't want to do that. You have to have 1 running back, and then you have 2 wide receivers, and you have a flex and a tight end. So the typical thing to do, I think a lot of people like to do in best ball, is go as many wide receiver heavy. I am fine doubling up on running backs in a head-to-head like this just to get the extra touches against Dave. So I'm curious to see what he does. Looks like I get the 101 again, Dave.
Go for it, man. Let's see who you're taking this week.
Oh,
We're
you
going
know who
Kelsey.
I'm taking. I'm taking the big dog. I'm already saying it. He is
All
such,
right.
I mean, he's like Christian McCaffrey at this point. Like the touches he gets, what he does with them, and it's Jacksonville. Like this is the team he built a legend on. The Church of Derrick Henry was built against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm just letting you know I'm taking Derrick Henry with the 101 here.
Go for it. And oh man, I'm gonna go with something here that is probably going to raise a lot of eyebrows, and I'll wait for you to make your pick. There you go with Derrick Henry. I am expecting this game in Kansas City to be an absolute shootout, and we haven't seen Stephon Diggs getting the touchdowns yet. We're seeing him with the targets. We're seeing him, get out there and get the opportunity, but it hasn't translated to fantasy points yet. I think that changes this week. We've seen Josh Allen ball out for back-to-back weeks now. We know Stephon Diggs is his guy, so my first 2 picks, I'm locking that in right there. I think they're going to be throwing a lot on the road. So give me Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen to start this team off.
Nice. I love it. Locking up your stack early, getting the top projected quarterback of the week, Josh Allen, against Kansas City, getting Diggs, who does have a big game coming his way. An overall wide receiver 1 week is on the books for him coming soon. Wouldn't shock me if it's this week. I'm going to take Kyler Murray here. I'm going to double up on the rushing numbers this week. Kyler has been really good. Against San Francisco, I think that the pressure that he does get coming from the edge, Nick Bosa and all that, is probably going to maybe force him to run. Not that he needs to be forced to run, but that could be a heavy run game for him. And I'm thinking Tyreek Hill, but I know that the corners are really good for Buffalo. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pair Derrick Henry up with Alvin Kamara. I know his role appeared to be different, and some people are spooked off of him. But if he goes back to what he's only been his entire career, there's a good chance I have the number 1 and number 2 overall running backs on my team right now. So,
yeah, Alvin Kamara, his role certainly does look like it's changed a little bit, but I'm a little shocked that you went with Kamara over Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, he said he's not 100% this week. He's dealing with some nagging injuries, but at home versus Detroit, if he's healthy, Dalvin Cook could be up there with Derrick Henry as the overall RB1 this week. So I'm going Dalvin Cook. And then number 2, this is just a chalky one for me with my other pick here, but I already locked in Stephon Diggs. My 2 top wide receivers this week are Stephon Diggs and Davante Adams. So if Davante Adams is going to fall to me with my 4th pick, I am more than happy to take him right there.
Nice. And now that I'm looking at it, I think I probably would have actually preferred Saquon as my second running back to Kamara, but can't live in the past. So let's take a look at who we have here at wide receiver available. We still have Tyreek Hill. Do I want to play the upside? No. I'm going to take DJ Moore, who has been lights out this season, getting the targets. This is a half PPR format, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at who's sitting around at tight end. Have we let Travis Kelce go multiple rounds? We have. I'm locking up Travis Kelce. Let's go.
Oh, man, I was hoping that you were going to miss that one somehow. I didn't even realize till after I made my pick. I just assumed that he was gone early. Bad misstep by both of us. I already locked in Davante Adams. And this might be one of those situations where I'm kind of handicapping myself just a little bit, but I think the Green Bay is just going to beat down Cincinnati. I don't know if it's going to be Davante Adams or Aaron Jones. It's going to have the monster game, but I am sure that one of them will. So I've already got Davante Adams, add Aaron Jones to that mix, and now I need to go for a tight end. Darren Waller, obviously an absolute stud, but I think that he is going to struggle against these Chicago linebackers a little bit. We've already seen TJ Hawkinson balling out now, even though he has had a couple down weeks. I think that, looking for the floor here, I've got all ceiling guys. So I expect TJ Hawkinson to see somewhere between 7 and 10 targets. So I'm taking him over Darren Waller and George Kittle this week.
Nice. I like the faith there in him. All right, last pick of the draft for me. I need a wide receiver 2 here. Tyreek Hill still on the board. And you know what? I can't let him. Even against Buffalo. I'm
Even
not
against
just going
Trey
to let him
White.
stay. I'm not letting him stay there. I'm taking him.
Oh
Boom.
man.
So let's take a look at these teams here. Pleasure drafting with you, Dave. Appreciate that. But I ended up with Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, and Dave's team, Josh Allen, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and TJ Hawkinson. Head to head, $5 a pop. Winner takes home $9. Let us know in the comments whose team you think is going to win. Personally, I'm partial to mine. I'm sure Dave's partial to his. But Dave, any thoughts here on this team? Anything you wish you would have done differently besides maybe the Travis Kelsey thing, or how are you feeling about this team?
I really do like the Josh Allen Stephon Diggs stack to start it off. And like I said, that might be a little bit of a reach, but I feel like when you're doing these, head to head, just these two-person ones, go out and lock in that stack that you really want. I mean, last week, I sniped you on Patrick Mahomes, and it didn't matter. You were still able to beat me, but that's probably something you wish you had locked in a little bit earlier. I think waiting on tight end was a little bit of a misstep on my end. I would have much rather taken Travis Kelsey over who was it? I took Aaron Jones and I took Aaron Jones and
You got Aaron
I'm sorry,
Jones.
Dalvin Cook and Devontae Adams over
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey. In hindsight, I'd probably would have, preferred taking Travis Kelsey there, but not the end of the world. So a lot of faith in TJ Hawkinson, but fingers crossed that he could have another big week.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before we came on. Travis Kelsey did kind of have a quiet week last week, and that could be part of the reason why we both let him kind of slip. Because in these two-person drafts, you do see a lot of times Travis Kelsey will just be the first guy taken. So that didn't happen this week. We're so biased, week to week. We want, so it's easy to forget, sometimes a guy, if he doesn't go off, you just kind of leave him at the bottom of your roster. Travis Kelsey, I hate to be it, but he's kind of spoiled us over the last few years, just with the level of consistency that he brings. So, like I said, y'all, check us out in the comments. Leave us who you think's team is going to win. Click on the link for Underdog. Go on there and play with us. You'll probably see us in a draft. I don't know how many times over the summer I saw Dave in an Underdog draft just randomly. That's kind of why this show just kind of happened, because we both love Underdog. I mean, it literally is like, at first I was kind of like anti-Underdog. I won't even lie to you. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of lame, whatever. But I put a little money on it, and I love it. And I think you will too if you guys give it a shot. Dave, how did your Best Ball Mania 2 teams do after this last week?
Not looking too hot, man. So the two players that I have more exposure on than anybody in Best Ball Mania 2 are Ryan Tannehill and Deontay Johnson. And I have a lot of faith in Deontay Johnson, but he's already missed 1 week, and that hurt me a little bit. Me going typically with a running back heavy builds, losing my wide receiver 1 for a week was pretty tough to get over. But really the biggest one for me so far has been Ryan Tannehill. I mean, that was a huge miss on my part this offseason. Hopefully he can figure it out a little bit in this new offense. Hopefully we can see Julio Jones and AJ Brown come back healthy. But right now, man, Ryan Tannehill, I have him as my quarterback in 9 of my 10 Best Ball Mania leagues. Just absolutely sickening.
No.
And a couple, he's QB2 in a couple of those, but a lot of exposure on Ryan Tannehill. And when you're giving up a 9th, 10th round pick to get him, you're leaving a lot of value on the table when he whiffs the way that he has.
That's tough. I have a lot of exposure to it. I'm very lucky to my man. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Daniel Jones, who has been fire, who has been hot fire, and he costs nothing in Underdog all summer long. So I have a few Darius Slayton. That was like my sneaky Underdog stack all summer, was Darius Slayton and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, it seems like it's
one.
Go ahead.
My big one was Aaron Jones. When all of the scares were out there about Aaron Rodgers, nobody wanted to draft Aaron Jones. So I've got this tool where you can upload your CVS, is it CSV? Whatever it is, the Excel file. You upload that in here and it gives you full just a ton of data on your exposure. And my average draft pick that I used for Aaron Jones was 13.1. Now, by the time we got to the season, he was consistently going top 4 or 5. But I was taking advantage in June, July, August, when everybody was really worried about Aaron Rodgers not coming back. And I was getting him consistently in the high to middle 2nd round. And that's one that I think is really, really going to pay off as the season progresses.
Yep. It's a long season. It's only week 4. Anything's
Quarter of the
possible.
way.
We know that from fantasy football world, from football just in general. That's why we love this. It's early still. I have a couple of 0-4 teams. I won't lie to you. And right now, the mindset is we're going 4-0. That's the mindset when I wake up in the morning.
Smart.
All right. And that's what I'm here for. I've dreamed about this all season, off season long. We're here. We're here to win. We're here to, you play to the whistle, guys and gals. That's, and that's what we love to do. So check out Underdog. Check out Dave Kluge over at Football Guys. Check out this channel, obviously, if you're here. And if you're listening to this on the new podcast feed, do us a favor, leave us a 5-star rating and leave a nice little review. We're going to try to grow this thing into something fun, something cool. We are the underdogs. You are an underdog. We're all underdogs, but somebody's got to get that bone and take it home. So any last words, Dave?
Nah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll get you out of here, y'all. See you next week.
Can feel it, thunder in paradise. Can feel it, thunder in paradise. Can feel it, thunder in paradise. Can feel it.
Let the rain hit the sand. Build a house on a rock, got a plan. Gotta get stocks, keep them bands. Hear the clock tick, blades on a fan. Used to be mundane on a Monday. Now you have fun day on a Sunday. Cause you switching it up and you living it up. You ain't getting enough.